Okay. I'm going to play land for turn and cast Approach of the Second Sun, putting you on a timer.
All right.
Your turn.
Okay. On my turn, I'll untap, and in my main phase, I'm going to cast Combat Celebrant.
Oh.
And with my Kiki Jiki in play, I will tap Kiki Jiki to make a haste token of Combat Celebrant.
Wait.
And move to combat. Swing. Untap Kiki Jiki. Tap Kiki Jiki. Make a Combat Celebrant. Swing. Untap Kiki Jiki. Tap Kiki Jiki. Make a Combat Celebrant. Swing. Tap Kiki Jiki. Make a Combat Celebrant. Tap Kiki Jiki. Make a Combat Celebrant. Make a Combat Celebrant. Untap Kiki Jiki. Tap Kiki Jiki. Make a Combat Celebrant. Swing. And with Impact Tremors, I deal 40 damage to you.
And welcome to the cleanup step.
Hey, everybody. It's me, Cameron.
And it's Eric. And we're talking about something real funky today.
Real funky. It's probably going to be in the title. We're doing funky combos. Eric and I, together, we looked up some of our favorite interactions from our recent days with Magic the Gathering. Some combos and a couple of weird decks. Just things that we want to talk about because we find them real funky.
Mm-hmm. And let's preface this, first of all. These aren't, your stereotypical Kiki Jiki Combat Celebrant combos. No.
I wonder where you got that from.
This is the jank.
The jank.
Like, the stuff you look at, and not, one or two of these cards aren't, this could combo with something. It's just all 6 of these create a powerful machine that dies to one instance of interaction.
Yep.
So...
I think the worst one that I have is an entire commander deck list. 99 cards and the commander. It all matters. And the simplest I have, it is a 3-card combo, but it's a 3-card combo without any win conditions, so you need a 4th card in there to actually win the game with it. It's one of the tamer, but I found it really fun, and it's in one of my newer deck lists, so I thought I'd talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Well...
We both got 4 decks, or not decks, we both have 4 combos to prepare today to talk about with you all. And I think, unless Eric has anything else to say, we might as well dive right in.
Yeah, absolutely. Should I go first, or should you?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Well, you see, I have a little background to this first little set of cards I have for y'all today. Cameron, our friend Austin from the last episode, and I did a thing for Cameron's birthday where we did a deck exchange. So we had a price pool limit of $50, and with 1 money card, so it was like $60 decks.
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah, and one of the decks I got was from our friend Austin, and I got a Guillaume Food Tribal deck.
Guillaume Master Chef.
Yeah, it was awesome. Really quick, it's just a card that has... Trample.
Yeah, 5/3.
And then at the end step, if a non-token creature enters the battlefield this turn, create food tokens equal to the amount of non-token creatures that enter the battlefield.
Yep.
And you can sack a food to get something indestructible and tap it, but that's...
You do gotta pay a generic for it, but...
Yeah, it's whatever. You don't use it too much. You're just like, I don't want this thing to die at combat, so you make it indestructible.
It's a fun way to swing with Guillaume, punch through for some trample damage, and then keep it alive.
Yeah. But the thing is, Austin didn't mean to put an infinite combo in there.
At least we don't think so.
Yeah. Austin, tell us if we're incorrect. But as I was playtesting it on my own at my desk, I realized something really funky with Guillaume Master Chef. And so the combo I present today has several cards in it, needs at least 4, and needs 5 functionally to not have 1 super expensive money card in there. So first I want to talk about the regular combo. What you need for this combo to work is Vine Witch Coven. Vine Witch Coven is a card that says it's 2 and a black, and whenever you gain life you can pay a black and return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. And so that's something, it's a recurring spell, gives you something that can start looping creatures. So you need Vine Witch Coven. You need a Blood Artist. We all know what that does. You need a sack outlet. So your Viscera Seers, your Bloodflow Connoisseurs, anything that can sack a creature. And the other source you can use if you want for the janky one is you need a Pitiless Plunderer. So whenever a non-token creature dies, you get a treasure token. And then any 1-drop creature, basically. So in that deck, as I was playtesting, I found 4 of the 5 cards because it doesn't have a Pitiless Plunderer. I had a Vine Witch Coven, the Blood Artist, a Ginger Brute, and a Sack Outlet. And I can basically just pay 1 black and 1 colorless to instantly bring this Ginger Brute on the field and ping everyone, and then realize a couple things. You can either have like something that makes Ginger Brute 0, so you're paying net even mana. You could have a mana doubler that makes it so whatever you're like when you're tapping stuff for mana, you can get the treasure token to pay for the additional one that you're paying. So you can just cycle through everything with this.
Yeah, and it goes infinite with Pitiless Plunder, Phyrexian Altar, right? Anything that gives you that black mana whenever something dies.
Phyrexian Altar is the best one.
Yeah.
Because, it's a 3-drop, not a creature, harder to remove. I also realized just now, you can make it easier to have an Ornithopter. If you have a Blood Artist out, you use an egg, use an artifact, sack the Ornithopter, and you just pay 0 mana to put it on the field, so you only need the 1 mana. Like statically, which is still like the same concept. One needs 2 mana, one needs 1, but meh.
I mean, at this point, you're talking about like a 6 or 7 card combo before it does anything functional.
Oh, absolutely. But it's funny.
it's very funny.
it does work, and I've seen it do decently even without the infinite combo. I can do like still 10 damage per turn, but it's way funnier when you're playing. Funny, food tribal. Why is there a 7-card infinite combo in here?
And you got dangerously close to doing it recently. We had a play session, I think it was yesterday or the day before, where he got out Gilded Goose. Is it Gilded Goose or Golden Goose?
Makes a food when it enters.
Makes a food when it enters. Jahira from Baldur's Gate, which makes your food tokens tap for a green when they enter. A Blood Artist. And Viscera Seer, and so he had the combo minus the thing that gave him a black mana for the Vane Witch Coven. And so it was funny. We saw him just fire it equal to the amount of black pips he had, which sadly
I had 2 black pips.
Yeah, you didn't have a lot that game, but
so I had the combo, but none of the mana to do it. And what's even more funny in the Guillaume deck is that if Guillaume's out, just at your end step, if you don't kill them, you just make food equal to the amount of times you cycled, which then doubles the mana production if you have Jahira out, which means you can do it 20 times instead of 10. And then it just exponentially goes up from there. So it's funny.
I mean, that deck definitely, like, the Janky Funny combo is great, but there's just so much more functional synergy in that deck that's probably more efficient for you to aim for. The second game we played, you got Marionette Master, Cauldron Familiar, and Viscera Seer. And so you could just sack food to ping me for 5, and then with Guillaume in play, you brought all the food that you sacked back because you had a cat enter the battlefield each time. Hit me for something like 40 damage, maybe 30 damage in 1 turn.
If there's any way a creature or a card that says whenever a creature dies, get a food, then you can sack the Cauldron Familiar, it dies, you get a food, then you can bring the Cauldron Familiar back with the food from when it got sacked.
Well, what you're talking about is the cat Witch Oven combo. It's just the Witch Oven taps to make the food.
Right.
I don't think there is one that just, like, sack a creature, make a food on a stick.
Dramatic Reversal Isochron Scepter. Just to get infinite.
Tech Blue. You're not even playing Gio anymore. That's just Muldrotha.
Muldrotha Food Tribal.
Muldrotha Food Tribal.
Yeah, so that's my combo. That's my first combo. And I just find it funny. It's not good. Preface. This combo is bad because it's, 5 cards to be functional, 6 cards to be functional without an altar and Jahira and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, before you do anything more than just kill the thing, pay a mana, and bring it back into play, you're looking at 6 cards to make it happen. Yeah.
Not great.
But it's funny. That's the point. Welcome to the theme of this episode.
Yeah.
It's not good, but it's funny.
Yep.
And going along with not good but funny, I would also like to, for my first combo interaction, present a combo. I hope this combo doesn't get prevented. It's too niche to actually get.
They're afraid of the table of your 12-card combo.
No. Eric already knows what this is. Close friends of the podcast already know this interaction, but it's too janky for me not to share with the ever slightly growing public that listens to what we talk about. And that is the 6-card, it's either 6 or 7 card infinite combo with Tatsunari Toad Rider. This is an enchantment, bounce, Kami trigger, gain and drain combo that is the epitome of why are you running these cards in the same deck? And why are you even running some of them at all? And it goes like this. You need Tatsunari Toad Rider in play. You need 2 1-mana enchantments. This is very important and very specific. It doesn't need to be any particular 1-mana enchantment. You just need 2 of them. Then you need a card called Triton Cavalry. Triton Cavalry is a 4-mana 2/4 Merfolk Soldier in blue with Heroic. When you cast a spell that targets Triton Cavalry, you may return target enchantment to its owner's hand. This is very important because you need the 2 enchantments. One already needs to be in play, and the other needs to be cast targeting Triton Cavalry. This triggers the Cavalry's heroic ability, putting the other 1-mana enchantment to your hand. If you have Kami in play, this drains the table for 1 and you gain 1 life. But how does it go infinite, you ask? Well, it goes infinite with our favorite infinite mana piece, Phyrexian Altar. Just like the last one. In order to make this card go infinite with the Tatsunari Toad Rider and Kami, you have to sacrifice the Kami trigger, or you have to sacrifice the Kami token after Kami's effect has resolved, but before Tatsunari Toad Rider's effect resolves, which says when you cast an enchantment, if you don't have Kami in play, make a legendary frog named Kami.
Do you have to murder the toad?
You have to kill the toad over and over and over again to the altar to make the 1 mana necessary to cast the enchantment that Triton Cavalry puts back into your hand. Fired correctly, you play Tatsunari, cast a 1 mana enchantment on Tatsunari, play the Triton Cavalry, cast a 1 mana enchantment on the Cavalry, making Kami. And then with your altar in play, you cast an enchantment, trigger Kami, draining the table, sacking Kami, making the mana for the enchantment you put back in your hand with the Cavalry, and then remake Kami with Tatsunari. And just like that, you've got infinite constellation triggers, infinite die and ETB triggers for a creature, and most importantly, infinite life drain.
Yeah. The one that wins you the game.
The one that wins you the game is the life drain off of the Kami. And I just find it neat. We pulled a Phyrexian Altar from our Double Masters box. Mm-hmm. Eric did, and I traded him my top for it. It was a worthwhile trade.
Good trade.
And that immediately went into this jank Tatsunari Frogs deck for my partner, instead of anywhere else that it possibly could have been put to make it any more marginally functional than it currently is as a 6-card combo piece in a Janky Frogs deck.
Is that 6?
Let's see. Well, if you include the token.
Oh, yeah.
It's Tatsunari, Triton Cavalry, Enchantment, Phyrexian Altar, and the Kami token makes 6.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
But, the Kami token is made from Tatsunari, so effectively you only need 5 cards.
Yeah, but you need 6 permanents.
Yeah,
right.
That's it.
Yep. Gotcha. That makes sense. I mean, if you ever don't want it anymore, it can go straight into food.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, is that all you need to talk about that combo? Or is there more niche stuff about it?
I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. It's another one of those situations where why is Phyrexian Altar even in there? Just for the combo. There's no other synergy. There's no Gravecrawler shenanigans or Aristocrat sub-theme. That card's exclusively there to make this jank combo work.
You're telling me there's no Gravecaller, Pitiless Plunderer, Phyrexian Altar combo in your Frog tribal deck?
No.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Darn.
I should think about that.
Yeah, totally. All right. I guess from one niche combo to another, I'm going to take away the green this time and talk about one of the newer commanders from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, Satoru Umezawa. So when this card was first released, like pre-released, however, spoiled. Yeah, there it is. I saw the ninjutsu ability and just went, Now, for context out there, the first ability, he has another ability where, like, you activate a ninjutsu ability and you get to, like, scry 3, put one in your hand, the rest in the bottom. That's whatever. But the trigger I want to talk about is just all creatures in your hand have ninjutsu 2 for a black and a blue. So that's... People correctly pointed out, first of all, that the first thing you can do with this is ninjutsu out a Blight Steel Colossus, which, you know, that's boring. It's good. It's really good, but boring. So I looked at the colors and I thought to myself, how can I get infinite turns with this? Because it felt like something you could just cheat. Like, having any creature come out for 4 mana is super cheaty. So here's the combo I made up. And keep in mind, this is all my brainchild, and it's horrible. It also has a card that was in there before it was $10. I had this in the time when it was $2, so I just like to think I predicted some of the spiking, but you know, it's whatever.
It's all your fault.
Yeah, it's all my fault. So what you need Satoru Umezawa out on the field. You need a Genesis Chamber. Whenever a non-token creature enters, you make a 1/1 mirror.
Yep.
You need a Fairy Imposter. Whenever Fairy Imposter enters the battlefield, return target creature to your hand or sack Fairy Imposter. You need a Time Sieve. And you need a Mirror Battle Sphere.
Jeez.
So, the entire point is Satoru Umezawa. Satoru Umezawa put out your Genesis Chamber, put out your Time Sieve, and let's say you cast your Fairy Imposter, and like you make a mirror, and you just sack that mirror, whatever. So Fairy Imposter's out, or return the mirror and it dies because it's a token. You go to combat on like your next turn. You hit someone with Fairy Imposter because that's flying, you get out early. You ninjutsu in Mirror Battle Sphere, and it makes 4 mirror tokens plus 1 because of Genesis Chamber. And so you get Mirror Battle Sphere out there. You hit someone with the Mirror Battle Sphere, sack all your mirrors to Time Sieve, taking an extra turn, and then you play Fairy Imposter, bouncing it back. And it's so funny.
Oh, Lord.
But I guess you need a haste enabler, which isn't that hard either. So
no, you just cast it the turn before you take the extra turn.
You cast it the turn before. So you need, what is that, 5 mana? That's not a lot.
How much mana is Fairy Imposter?
1.
Oh, it's a 1-drop?
It's a 1-drop.
Oh, yeah, that's 5 mana.
Yeah. So that's just 5 mana, super janky, 6-card, infinite turns by ninjutsuing in a Mirror Battle Sphere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
5.
It's not that bad, but it's super jank. Like, this is something, I'm pretty proud of this one, because it doesn't use any broken, like, oh, Phyrexian Altar, of course it's Phyrexian Altar. And I mean, I guess...
Of course it's Phyrexian Altar.
I guess now Time Sieve is that card.
Kinda.
But like I said, this is when Kamigawa was spoiled. Time Sieve was still a $2 card at the time. And so I think that this combo in particular, while not good, is like super sneaky because no one expects you to win off of a Genesis Chamber and a Mirror Battle Sphere.
I was about to say, I don't think anybody can be upset with you for playing Mirror Battle Sphere and going, I think I need another mirror.
Right? Straight up.
That's the epitome of why isn't 4 enough? It's like
because I need one more for the sieve.
One more for the sieve. It's glorious.
Yeah.
I haven't heard this one. I think maybe you've told me and I've since forgotten. but it's hilarious.
Yeah. And I was trying to find ways to make this better. There is none. Mirror Battlesphere is the only one that gets you enough artifacts while still keeping itself alive to the point where you can keep sacking them. Because Marionette Master makes 4 with a Genesis Chamber out. That's not enough. I don't remember any creature that's like Fabricate 4. I didn't find any. If there is, tell me. But I still think Mirror Battlesphere is better in this case.
There's another.
There's one more?
Yeah.
Who's the other one?
See, while you have Time Sieve on the back of your mind as a funny combo card that you like to think about, I recently have had Thopter Assembly on my mind.
What does Thopter Assembly do for this?
That's a 6 mana 5/5 Thopter that says, at your upkeep, if you don't control any Thopters other than Thopter Assembly, return Thopter Assembly to your hand and make 5 Thopter tokens. So if you sack your 5 tokens, right, take the extra turn, no Thopters in play. Cast your fairy, take your extra turn, and then put the Thopter Assembly into play.
Make 5 more Thopters.
At the upkeep, it'll bounce back into your hand, make you 5 Thopters. And then with the fairy out again, that's effectively...
You don't even need. I don't think you even need the fairy out for that because it just says at your upkeep. If you don't have a Thopter, return this. Make 5 Thopters.
Oh no!
That's just a 2-card combo of Time Sieve.
Well, that just goes to show you that I haven't had Time Sieve on my mind lately.
That's a 2-card combo of Time Sieve.
That's 6 generic mana. You just make 5 Thopters, feed them all to the sieve, cast your Thopter Assembly, and take an extra turn.
That reminds me of a lot of my next combo, actually.
Well, too bad.
Darn.
I have a combo first.
Well, yeah.
Do you have,
2-card combo. That's nice.
well, do you have anything else for Satoru with Mirror Battlesphere?
If you, like I was saying, it's the best that combo can be if you want to use Satoru's ninjutsu ability. Is the thing. If you want to use the Janky, I'm going to use the 7-drop, but make it a 4-drop. Then that's what you can do. But no, it was just funny. I was proud of myself on that one.
You should be. That one's great. Going off from this is very janky, very niche, and very inefficient Satoru, where it's like you can just do this with Time Sieve and Thopter Assembly, or Time Sieve and is it Smuggler's Stash? Bootlegger Stash.
Yeah.
Bootlegger Stash Time Sieve. Any of the Time Sieve combos.
Hey, Muldrotha.
Why do it with that when I can run Genesis Chamber, Mirror Battlesphere, a Jank Fairy, and Satoru?
Hell yeah.
Going off of that into my own, I brewed this one up for this episode. I didn't have it on the back burner. It's not in the deck, and it involves an unreleased card.
Oh.
With Unfinity releasing soon. If you aren't familiar, unsets traditionally are silver bordered, which means they are not legal for any form of play unless you rule 0 something in. With Unfinity, they are actually making it a black bordered set and then putting acorn stamps on the cards that are not legally playable. Which means some of them, like this next card I'm going to talk about, are legally playable in only Eternal formats like Commander.
Heck yeah.
And with this combo, I would like to present to you the janky, and I argue, much funnier way to go infinite with Saw in Half.
I remember this card. I heard about some infinite combos already with this card, but I'm curious what you thought of.
Well, I'll start with the easy one. The Saw in Half, for context, is a 3-mana single black pip instant that says destroy target creature. Then, if a creature was destroyed this way, make 2 token copies of that card with their power and toughness stat cut in half, rounded up. Rounded up is important because it means if you cut a 1/1 in half, you get 2 1/1s. So it never dies. The combo doesn't end because of the rounding up clause. The easiest way to do this is to cast Saw in Half, and then cast Dual Caster Mage, targeting Saw in half.
A third Dual Caster Mage card. Let's go.
Yep. Dual Caster Mage, flash. When it enters the battlefield, create a copy of target instant or sorcery spell. You can choose new targets. So with a real Saw in half in play, you cast Dual Caster, create a token of Saw in half, use the copy targeting the Dual Caster Mage, and let it resolve, making 2 Dual Caster Mages with the original Saw in half still on the stack. Goes infinite, and then whenever you want to stop the combo, you just choose a different target other than the Dual Caster Mage, so you don't present a drawing loop. Mm-hmm. With this version, I wanted to make it more interesting than just a Dual Caster Mage combo. So I went back into the recesses of my brain, and all the way back in high school, there was a card that I was obsessed with trying to make work. This card is Zada Hedron Grinder.
Oh, I remember Zada.
4-mana goblin. It says, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets only Zada, create a copy of it targeting each other creature you control that you can target. There also is Mirror Wing Dragon, which is the same thing as Zada from Eldritch Moon, but it says any player, when they cast a spell targeting only Mirror Wing Dragon, they get to copy it on their board.
Oh, so it's just worse.
It's just worse. It costs 1 more mana, and it lets other people do jank stuff with Zada effects, but there's 2 of them, which means it's more consistent than just Zada. Mm-hmm. Let me get to the combo. With Zada Hedron Grinder in play, you cast Saw in half targeting it, and when you target it, it creates a copy of Saw in half targeting 2 cards at minimum, these cards being Archaeomancer, to return the Saw in half to your hand, and any creature that creates minimum 2 treasure tokens.
What?
And there currently is like 4 or 5 of them.
All right.
Right? And budget comments. Prosperous Pirates and the 5-mana 4/4 dragon, Rapacious Dragon. It's a 5-mana 3/3
Oh, when it enters, make 2 or
when
something?
it enters, make 2.
Gotcha.
It goes like this. With Archaeomancer, Rapacious Dragon, Zada in play. You cut Zada in half. You also cut Archaeomancer in half. And you also cut Rapacious Dragon in half. And then, with the original card in the graveyard... Oh no! Does this work? Okay, I'm going to present it, and then I'm going to try and dismantle it, because I didn't think about this until just now, and we might as well talk about it live.
Okay, sure.
In my mind, it's you create a copy, you create 2 tokens of Archaeomancer,
Yep.
and put Saw in half back in your hand.
Yep.
You create 2 copies of Rapacious Dragon, making 4 treasures, which means you can spend 3 of the treasures to recast the Saw in half, and have 1 treasure left over.
Yep.
For infinite mana, infinite ETB, death triggers, and then any other ETB effect to win you the game. Impact Tremors, for instance.
That makes sense.
What I didn't think about is, does this not work for the same reason that Dual Caster Mage combo does? Zada Hedron Grinder creates copies of the spell targeting your other creatures, which means I think the original copy of Saw in half isn't going to resolve until the Archaeomancer leaves the battlefield.
You're correct.
Oh no!
You're correct. It wouldn't go in the graveyard yet, because on the stack it says destroy target creature. Period. It's not like a then. It's a then thing. So it destroys all the creatures. Archaeomancer dies. Then they get split up. Mm-hmm. And that's when the spell resolves. But on the stack, Archaeomancer would have resolved before the spell resolved, and it would go in your graveyard.
Because the copy of Saw in half is the thing that killed the Archaeomancer, which means the actual card isn't in play yet.
Now hear me out.
It isn't in the graveyard yet.
Now hear me out.
Okay.
Fairy Imposter.
No, I have a fix.
What's the fix? You have 1 treasure token left.
This is what we call live editing. Instead of Archaeomancer, use Scribe of the Mindful, and any card that gives your board haste.
Oh, yeah, return. Oh, okay, yeah.
Scribe of the Mindful, you pay, I think it's 1 generic mana.
I can check.
If it's 1 generic mana, then we've got it. We're going to wait until Eric gets this.
That would be infinite ETB and die triggers, but you want to get infinite mana, which,
that's
impact
fine.
Tremors.
Yeah, you just impact Tremors your way through it.
It just makes a 5-card combo instead of a 4-card combo.
I mean, 6-card combo because you have Anger in your graveyard.
Oh, well, does that really count? You just get in your opening hand, you're like, I'm going to draw and not play anything, I'm going to pitch Anger. It's...
I mean, you're playing Grixis. It's like red, blue, and black are the way to put creatures in your graveyard fast.
1 tap, sacrifice Scribe.
No, that's it. Yep. That's it. Okay, I'll present it one more time. With Scribe of the Mindful, Rapacious Dragon, Impact Tremors, and Zadahedron Grinder in play.
And Anger in the graveyard.
Anger in your graveyard, and Saw in Half in your hand. You cast Saw in Half targeting only Zada. Make Saw in Half copies for your whole board. Making 2 Scribe of the Mindful, 2 Rapacious Dragon, and then bringing back a Zada. You sack 1 to the Legendary Clause, you still have 1 left over. You make 4 treasure tokens on Rapacious Dragons entering. You let the original copy resolve killing the Zada, right? Now the Saw in Half's in your graveyard. You have 2 Scribe of the Mindful. And 1 mana to crack 1 of the Scribes to put the Saw in Half in your hand with 1 remaining Scribe of the Mindful in play.
Mm-hmm.
Because you make 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
You spend the remaining 3 treasures and do it again.
Yep.
I thought this was going to be a tame combo. This is a 6 mana jank pile.
And if you still want the infinite treasures, you just add a Zorn.
Zorn!
Let's go Zorn!
Combo Man Zorn. Combo Man!
Yeah, I mean, he's not... I mean, what is he comboed? Goldspan Dragon and Magda. That's about it.
That said, if you have Zorn in this deck, all of your creatures that make 1 treasure when they enter now fire the combo.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, jeez. You could potentially have a pile of like 20 cards that effectively fire this combo.
Just
and then
Zada
ways
Zorn
to tutor
treasure.
for it.
Gamble. What colors are you in? Because you need to be...
Red, blue, black, minimum.
Grixis.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Easy. You're in the best tutor color.
Yep.
So you just get a Gamble, Demonic Tutor, Grim Tutor, and you just go, I'm going to look for Zorn. I'm going to look for Saw in Half. I'm going to look for my dragon.
This is great.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Entomb. I'm going to tomb Anger in my graveyard.
I mean, can we expect anything else from this episode than the jankiest pile of cards possible?
That's probably the jankiest one.
That's probably the jankiest one yet.
like it shouldn't work, but it does. It's 7 cards, almost a tenth of your entire deck goes into this combo specifically.
But I mean, when it's that complicated, you can't do anything but be very proud of yourself if you ever make it work.
Oh, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the easiest way to do it, unironically, is to just wheel your hand a ton of times and then living death everything back into play.
Right.
You know?
Oh, yeah. That's true. Adnaz.
Mm-hmm.
Grixis Adnaz.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even if Anger is in play, the first time you fire the combo, you saw in half your anger, putting 1 in your graveyard.
Yeah.
And so you can just recur your entire combo from the graveyard to the battlefield.
And then you get infinite creatures.
And then start the combo with Anger in play.
So you get infinite... you don't even need a Zorn at that point. If you just have an Anger, that's just infinite damage.
Oh.
Because you get infinite creatures.
You net 1 treasure generator every turn.
Net 1 treasure generator and net creatures. Because they come 1/1s and they make 1/1s that now have haste and you can just go attack with them. So, yeah, this is funny.
Jank.
All right. Well, I think my next combo isn't as jank.
That's all right. After all of this jank, we need a mental break.
This is less of a combo, more of a PSA. All right. Tivit. All right. People are sleeping on this card. Let me pull it up for you. Tivit is a Esper commander from New Capenna.
Yeah.
You know, and it does some stupid stupid things.
For those of you that don't know what the guilds mean for colors, that is blue, white, and black.
Yes. Yeah. So the card is Tivit, Silver Secrets. 3 colors, white, blue, and black. It's a Sphinx Rogue. He looks weird. He has Flying Ward 3, because why? And whenever he enters the battlefield or deals combat damage to a player, starting with you, each person votes evidence or bribery. For each evidence, you investigate, aka make a clue. And for each bribery vote, you make a treasure. Hint, these are all artifacts. Those tokens are both artifacts. So, I'm just going to say this. So you get 5 artifacts when Tivit enters the battlefield.
Now, we're going to pause here, and I encourage our listeners to think back in their recent memory about what card we maybe have already talked about that goes infinite when you can make 5 treasures a turn. Doo-doo. Can't do the rest of that. You know where it goes.
It's time, Sieve! See, when Tivit enters the battlefield, and you just have Time Sieve out, you just get an extra turn. Not only that, if you're playing a pod, you just stare at the person who doesn't have flying and go, you, and just start punching them with Tivit to make 5 treasures each turn to take an extra turn.
Can I interject? Both the Satoru and Tivit combo are in the same colors.
Yes.
So you can put both of these in the same deck.
Yes.
And throw a Thopter assembly in there, just cuz.
So you can run Tivit, Satoru Umezawa, Time Sieve, Thopter assembly combos, and you're in white, blue, black, or Esper, which has the best recursion and tutor, specifically for artifacts with like Fabricate or the Tinker Mage from blue, to just Time Sieve, because the Tinkerer is like, find an artifact of 2 mana value or less, which is Time Sieve.
Yeah.
So you can just look for this.
Not to mention all of the card draw and all of the control with counter spells and board wipes and kill spells.
And not to mention, this is an infinite combo with the second piece in your command zone.
Yeah.
So you really only have to find 1 card, and if you want to make this a guaranteed infinite turns, you get an Academy Manufacturer to make you 15 artifacts, or you get something that makes Tivit unblockable. Done. Then you just win. It's funny. I think people are sleeping on Tivit super hard. I don't know why. But, because, like, what is it? It's like $1 right now.
Oh, geez, I don't know.
It's 30 cents.
Yeah, I bought a copy for the Cube on pre-release. And I pre-ordered a copy. I think it was only $1, even for the pre-release price, and it's just dropped since then.
Yeah, because people don't want, because they're like, oh my god, it's so expensive. What happened? You know, and it's not that expensive. 6 mana is not. If you look at CEDH, you know, 4 mana commanders, like is Winota 3 or 4?
I think Winota's 4.
Yeah, Winota's 4. Or, you know, you have your partner pairings. Sakashima and Kodama is a pretty good CDH deck, and that's 6 mana for Kodama. It's not that hard.
It's the only reason 6 mana sounds like a lot is if you don't win the game when you cast it. But you do. You do win the game when you cast Tivit if you have a Time Sieve in play.
If they don't have an answer and they don't have a flyer, you just win. Yeah.
Cost check. Winota is a 4 mana card.
Yeah, so I can see Tivit being used easy. And I just don't think people are doing it. I don't know why.
It's because they'd rather run Thassa's Oracle Demonic Consultation combos.
Hey, guess what? That's in the colors. You can run Tivit, and if Tivit doesn't work, guess I just have to go for the mill out strategy. You have no excuses. Run Tivit. This is my PSA.
We're gonna have a PSA nuts. Every episode at this rate, aren't we?
Yes, because
go buy Urabrask. Go play Tivit.
Yeah, play Tivit.
What's next?
Buy Urabrask. What was the first one in Double Masters?
Watch out for Hellkite Overlord.
Watch out for Do not get Hellkite Overlord unless you're playing like a Legacy or Modern Entomb deck or whatever.
Unless you're playing Karthus Tyrant of Jund, you don't need a Hellkite Overlord.
Not once.
Anyways.
Yeah, but that's my combo. It's still a combo, but it's just no one's running it. And I don't see it anywhere. I don't see any talks on it. I don't see it on any gameplays online. It's non-existent.
So, just to prod you a little bit, I dropped something. Sorry, bad cast episode. Just to prod you a little bit, is a 2-card infinite combo in which one piece is in the command zone considered janky? Or do you just have a soft spot for Tivit?
I think it's a little janky because it's preventable. It's really easy preventable. You kill Time Sieve, you counter Tivit, you kill Tivit before you can do more combat damage. If you have a flyer, it doesn't work if you don't have anything that gives them unblockable. If you have no other way to make more artifacts, and it's like you just hit people with Tivit, and it's like a little janky. It takes some work.
Fragile, maybe.
Yeah, it's fragile, but I guess that's not 6 cards. I'm gonna sack my frog over and over. You know,
6 cards, sack my frog.
Yeah, no, it's less janky, but it's just one of those combos I don't see anyone running.
I mean, just the whole deck concept in general is something that I find really funny. It's like, how many different ways can we just throw Time Sieve and an infinite combo in and just see what happens? And push comes to shove and you don't land the combo, then you go to the best combo and see EDH.
Exactly. In the best colors for looking for it. Like, it's a lot easier than people are giving it credit for.
Yeah.
So it's
funny.
So that's my combo. What's your third one?
My third one, we both prepared 4, and I need to decide which one I want to do next. So I'm gonna ask Eric. Do I go for a tame one and save the combo deck for last? Or do I do the combo deck and then present the tame one?
The deck's gotta go last.
The deck's gotta go last. All right, then I'm going to present my own rather tame combo. That way we can take a little breather before we absolutely boggle our minds by the end of this episode. So people who are familiar with me or have listened to previous episodes of the cast already know I have a decently powered mono-white flicker tribal deck using Yoshimaru and Livio as the partner commanders. And with the release of Baldur's Gate, Battle for Baldur's Gate, earlier this year, there is a new mono-white flicker card that released, and it is Abdel Adrian Gorian's Ward, which is a legendary creature. It's a 5-mana 4/4, and when it enters the battlefield, you can exile any number of other non-land permanents you control until Abdel Adrian leaves the battlefield, and you get a soldier creature token for each permanent you exile this way. People have already talked about combos with this using, like, Animate Dead, where you bring Abdel Adrian back with Animate Dead and then make Animate Dead exile with Abdel Adrian, killing Abdel Adrian and bringing back the Animate Dead for infinite ETBs and soldiers.
It's like World Gorger.
Yeah, it's another World Gorger sort of effect. But instead of that, because I'm in mono white, I needed to get creative. And with Abdel Adrian, Fiend Hunter, and Felidar Guardian, you create an infinite ETB loop. Yep. That I didn't know existed until I was prepping for this cast episode. So now I've got a new thing to dig for whenever I get into the late game with Yoshimaru. And this is... it goes like this. With a Felidar Guardian in play, it has to already be in play. You cast a Fiend Hunter, which exiles the Felidar Guardian until Fiend Hunter leaves the battlefield. It's a little bit more complicated than that for people who are familiar with Fiend Hunter, but I do layer the triggers correctly, so the cat does get exiled before Fiend Hunter leaves the battlefield. So with Felidar Guardian under Fiend Hunter, you cast Abdel Adrian, exiling the Fiend Hunter until Abdel Adrian leaves the battlefield. Then, when Fiend Hunter leaves, you get Felidar Guardian back, which exiles and immediately returns Abdel Adrian to play, which, when it leaves, brings back the Fiend Hunter, exiling the Felidar Guardian under the Fiend Hunter, and then with the trigger on the stack and resolved, you exile the Fiend Hunter back under Abdel Adrian, creating an infinite ETB loop of, as Abdel Adrian says, any number of non-land permanents you control, which means your Wall of Omens, as many times as you care to draw a card, you draw a card. as many times as you care to put a legendary creature in play. Yoshimaru's going to get a counter. And you end it whenever you want by not targeting anything.
Right.
Which, the more I think about it, it's so easy to fire.
Oh, yeah.
Because those cards you just have those sit in play anyways. Fiend Hunter and Felidar Guardian both, you just use those in that deck. You don't hold on to them, right? And so you can just play them, not really care, not really go for the combo. And then if you draw into all three of them and have them all in play at the same time, it's like, oh, I won.
Wow. Who would have thought it?
So I find it fun. When I was prepping for the episode, I wanted to get a combo in every color. And I was right at the end of my prep, and I realized that white was the only color combo I was missing. So I immediately went, is there any combo I'm not thinking of in Yoshimaru right now? And it came pretty quickly afterwards. But there you go. Color pie represented. Colorless cards included.
Yeah, I sadly do not have a red in my combo list, but
I mean, the Zadahedron Grinder Son half super jank 6-card infinite combo should have us covered for red today.
Yeah, probably.
We're playing with a lot of black cards in this episode.
Black's good. Black's not good by its... Well, okay. Emphasis. Not everyone knows. Isn't it like mono black's the only one that hasn't
won a Pro Tour?
Yeah. So it's like considered, quote unquote,
it's
the worst color.
The worst mono color in Modern, at least.
Yeah, but it's like black works so well. Like, it needs a teammate.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're playing Keurig Devotion, like we were talking about.
Which is pretty fragile on its own. You just make sure Keurig doesn't stay in play.
Yeah, but if black works so well while pairing with other colors to find said combo pieces, to find said niche removals, to find the good cards in those colors. That's great. Great card. But, Cameron, what if I told you I have the best combo as my last combo?
Okay, I'll have to challenge you with my 100 card stack of glory.
This combo, based on rules, in a competitive setting, makes you automatically lose the game.
It's not a draw, it's you lose?
You lose, because you're cheating.
What?
Okay, so, this card is Selvala Explorer Returned.
The green-white one?
Yeah, the green-white one. So it has Parlay, and you tap it, each player reveals the top card of his or her library. For each non-land card revealed this way, add green to your mana pool, and you gain 1 life. Then each player draws a card. This is a mana ability, so it can happen at any time. So in a competitive setting, if you search your library, and in the middle of searching your library, you can activate Selvala's Parlay because it's a mana ability. Which means you can technically see the top card of your library and cheat. And you automatically get disqualified. Because you can't reverse the effects of what happened. You can't do that, judge. They're cheating because they looked. It's like, I can't, you already drew your card. I can't stop this. Like, you can't reverse everything.
Did you find this in rulings?
I know there's some weird niche way. I was trying to look up a combo that makes it so people don't actually get to reveal the top card of the library when you parlay, because there's some weird way to do that I heard on a specifically other popular podcast that involves knights that like to play games.
Right.
Yeah, and so I heard that. I was like, oh, I want to look that up and talk about it because it's neat. And then I found you can activate this while searching, and you just lose. It's cheating because you're looking at the top card of your library.
Oh, I love that.
And so you just go, any tutor spell, parlay, I lose.
Oh, can I piggyback off this for a hot second? You know how janky this can get?
Oh, very.
Give it to your opponent, then take control of their turn.
If you can, that's really funny.
Give it to your opponent, say you have Selvala, and then play it for them.
And I'm gonna make you cheat.
Fire the game loss game state on their side of the board because you control their turn.
If you're playing true competitive and just make your other opponent cheat, that's really funny.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. There's probably some weird rule Because when I was looking this up, it was like rule 1071.1b. You know, I was like, I didn't want to bring those because that's boring as heck.
Comprehensive rules.
Yeah, but I was just like, this is funny that you can just, like, based off, if you're playing true competitive Magic, you are just cheating and get auto disqualified.
Okay, so we're approaching the end of this episode, but I want to figure this out. So we just name cards that you can play to do this.
Any search. Demonic Tutor. Or in the colors, I guess.
It can happen in green-white.
Yeah.
Assault Suit. Mindslaver.
Oh, you're talking about to make them cheat?
Uh-huh.
You can.
So Selvala in the command zone, right? With white artifact tutor spells. As we mentioned before, there's a couple of them out there. You cast Selvala from the command zone, equip it with the suit so it can't be sacrificed, give it to the next opponent in line, Mindslaver them, take control of their turn, tap Selvala, make them lose, and then give the assault suit to your next opponent.
I'm playing cheating tribal.
I'm playing green-white cheating.
That's pretty funny.
Oh, man. You want to know my favorite part? All three of those cards are unironically in my cube.
Yeah, you can like rule 0. Hey guys, I know that this is pretty casual, but this entire deck is based off you losing because I cheated. Is that allowed? It's stoppable. It's just a regular combo.
Man.
It's just, I'm going to make you cheat by the laws of Magic the Gathering.
Dude, this needs to happen. It actually, like, I need to put this together. I own all of the cards for this already. Oh, jeez. I love that. That's incredible.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, big stretch. Everybody, go ahead. You're going to need it. Buckle up for safety. Grab a drink of water. We're talking about everyone's favorite mono black searching card, Marilyn of the Morn Song.
Oh, not again.
To wrap up this episode. And this is a callback to my buddy Levi. Levi, if you end up watching this, sup, we made it.
I don't think we did quite yet. But
it's on a podcast now. We made it. In my first year of college, me and my then roommate Levi, talked about a way to make a deck, like a fragile, like, you know how there's Maelstrom Wanderer 98 lands or something like that from Commander's Quarters, where it's just make it to 8 lands, play Maelstrom Wanderer, win the game because you fixed the rest of your library. It's another deck like that, where it's, I'm going to win the game just if you don't stop me whatsoever. It's like a litmus test.
Yeah.
It's like, if you have not enough interaction to deal with this, I win. And I wrote it down. That way I made sure I had every little piece necessary to deliver to you all. So, a brief recap for those who didn't listen to last episode. Marilyn of the Morn Song is a 3-mana legendary creature from Lorwyn. It says players can't draw cards, and at the beginning of each player's, it's either upkeep or draw step, they lose 3 life, and they have to search their library for a card and put that card into their hand. It's funny with Opposition Agent, that's not what this is doing. Though you can put Opposition Agent in the deck to make it a little bit less fragile. This is an ad nauseum combo. I've officially said some players' 2 least favorite things in the game. Opposition Agent and ad nauseum. There's probably someone out there who's clicked off by now because of how obnoxious this combo is going to get. So you need Marilyn of the Morn Song in your command zone. That way you can cast and tutor with it. That said, you could also run the mono black Sidisi with Exploit, and then cast Sidisi and Exploit herself to find the ad nauseum. Because all you need to do is guarantee your ad nauseum in your hand in mono black. With an ad nauseum in your hand, you cast the ad nauseum, and the rest of your deck needs to be lands, Dark Ritual, Soul Ring, Blood Artist, Skull Clamp, Ashnod's Altar, Zombie Infestation, and Elixir of Immortality, plus whatever safety net you want. Something like an Op Agent if you're running Marilyn, or maybe a Border Wipe, like a Damnation, in case somebody got ahead of you too quickly.
What is happening here?
You just have to make sure you don't lose too much life off of the Ad Nause trigger. So you can't have a lot of cards. It needs to be very compact and very specific. With this stack of cards, you do this on your next turn. Oh, you also, I should note, you should have like a Library of Lung or a spell book in there as well, so you keep your hand for your next turn.
Right.
On your next turn, your following turn, let's say you did this on turn 5, and now it's turn 6. You've played your 6th land because you definitely have 6 lands in your hand because of how many lands are in your deck. With 6 lands in play, you play a Soul Ring going up to 7 mana, you play a Dark Ritual going up to 9 mana. You spend 2 for the Blood Artist, 2 for the Zombie Infestation, 3 for the Ashnod's Altar, and with 2 mana left, you discard 2 cards to... Oh, right, because you have some lands in your hand at this point. You discard 2 of your lands to the Zombie Infestation to get a zombie token in play. Mm-hmm. You have 2 mana left. You play the Skull Clamp for 1. You equip your zombie with your remaining mana with the Skull Clamp. And with a Skull Clamp in play, Zombie Infestation, and a handful of cards, you bin all of your lands, make a ton of zombies, put Skull Clamp on them, sacrifice one of them, to draw a card, but before you do, you play Elixir of Immortality, shuffling the Elixir, the lands, and the Ad Nauseam back into your library. Huh. And in the meantime, with the Blood Artist, you technically don't even have to wheel your deck, because if you have 80 lands in your hand, every time you discard 2 cards, you're making a zombie, and then you sack it, and then somebody is losing a life. So you can make 40 zombies in your first cycle of cards.
Right.
The wheel is just there in the event that somebody has more than 40 life. Mm-hmm. Ta-da! You infinitely make zombies, you infinitely draw lands, you infinitely cycle your library. At that point, you don't even need the Ad Nauseam anymore because the colorless mana and the Skull Clamp are drawing you your cards back, and the Elixir is a colorless effect. Mm-hmm. So you can run out of Black Pips and still fire this.
So the question is, how early could you fire this combo?
Well, if you've got all the fast mana, Crypt, Ring, Ritual, you can make 1, 3, 4, 6 mana on turn 1, which... I presented this with needing 9 mana, but I guess technically...
You need 8, because Ad Nauseam is 5, and then Maryland's 3, right?
Yeah.
So you could probably fire it off on, like, turn 3.
If you got the nut draw, you could probably do it on turn 2 or turn 3, but even if you do nothing but play a land and pass for a couple of turns, you're still doing this by turn 6.
6 or 5?
Well, you need to have 5 mana for Ad Nauseam. So you Ad Nauseam on turn 5, and then you fire the combo on turn 6. And that's it. That's the whole thing. It's an Ad Nauseam combo where you tutor for the Ad Nauseam using your commander, which tutors a card for you. And then your whole deck is fixed to do exactly this. And the moment anybody counters one of your spells or kills your Ashnod's Altar or your Skull Clamp, you're done for.
Even countering isn't that bad, because you do have ways in your deck to, like, recur it.
Yeah,
but at the same
Elixir.
time, if you get Force of Negation and it exiles the spell, or Force of Will, or Path, or a Resculpt that'll exile, either
an artifact.
the Elixir or something.
Or even the Skull Clamp, because that's the card draw engine.
Skull Clamp.
Literally, you remove any single piece of this, exile the Zombie Infestation, done. Right? you can do anything you need to this interaction in order to absolutely shut it down. But until you do,
it's gonna win.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, well, it's definitely janky.
It's janky.
Yeah.
All of these have been janky.
Most of them have been janky.
Except for Tivit in the Command Zone times even your deck, and 3 white flicker cards
that you can just play.
You just are already playing because they're good white flicker cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that's fair.
But
the rest of them, though.
The rest of them. Chef's kiss. This is the epitome of jank.
Yes.
6 cards minimum. I guess 5 cards minimum.
5 cards minimum, yeah.
5 cards minimum.
Who needs Thassa Demonic when I got my Thopter Assembly? Well, no, that's a 2 card. What is it? Mirror Battle Sphere for Satoru.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mere Battlesphere, Genesis Chamber, the Fairy.
Time Sieve Fairy Satoru.
Satoru.
Yeah. God, I still can't believe we randomly found the Thopter Assembly Time Sieve one.
Dude, I'm sure as soon as... I mean, Thopter Assembly's been around for a long time.
Like, the combo
So
probably
it's like,
already exists.
Yeah, it's like as soon as Time Sieve started getting printed, I'm sure somebody was like, oh, Thopter Assembly's pretty good with this. But, you know, New Age Magic, New Age players.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was this episode today on Janky Combos.
Janky Combos.
Yeah. If you'd like to hear anything else that we would talk about on the podcast, leave it down in the comments. Or, I mean, I guess if you know us, just give us a quick shout out.
Yeah. If you're new here, we've already got 2 episodes up. This is our 3rd. We plan on doing this bi-monthly. And so far, we're more or less there. It was my birthday last week, which is why this is coming out a little later than normal.
Yes.
But yeah, we're trying to keep it bi-monthly, and so slowly but surely we'll have a stockpile for y'all to binge.
Yeah, exactly. And you can find us on, if you're listening to this on Spotify, we're on YouTube. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, we got a Spotify.
Yeah.
Same titles, The Cleanup Step. And we also have a TikTok where we like to post a couple of clips here and there, and we're planning on maybe doing some other stuff.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, eventually, for sure. So, yeah, it should be fun.
Keep tabs on us. It'll be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, and hope to see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.